Good afternoon, everybody. Hope your week's going well. I'm Edward O'Neill in the Office of Special Populations with Justin Porter and Stephen Prater. Hope everyone's doing well. Short agenda today, just a couple things we wanted to go over. As a reminder, as always, if you have questions, please drop them in the chat or the Q&A, and then we'll go through them as we can. If we don't have answers, we use them to build future FAQ documents. Hopefully everyone, obviously everyone on here caught that the prior Zoom link expired. I apologize for that. So this one's set up to go through March 31st. So hopefully that won't be an issue anytime soon. Right here in the agenda, these are the next two sessions we have before most LEAs go on winter break. With that, I will stop sharing and I will let Stephen Prater take over. So.
All right, and it's telling me I can't undo my video, so I don't know if y'all care if y'all see my face or not, but I don't care. I'm going to show my screen anyways.
I want to see your face, Stephen.
Let me try. Is there some magic you have to work, Ed?
No, you should be able to share your screen. I have it so all panelists can.
Oh no, share my video.
Oh no, that's not me. That's you.
That's you, dude.
Oh. Every time I click on it, it tells me you cannot start your video because the host has stopped it.
Oh, well, I'll try to see if I can fix that as you're talking. So,
all right, yeah, I'll go ahead and share my screen though.
Maybe I missed something when I was set up the new thing. That's the only thing I can think of, but I'll try to see if I can fix it right now.
People always told me I had a face more for radio than for TV, but I don't know if that's true for Stephen.
Yeah, probably is. All right, so I'll go ahead and start talking through these. Can everybody see my screen, I hope? These are some new resources that we have coming out from our technical assistance group and our networks that we have. So these first two up here are from our MEMN network, and just in case if you're not familiar, that stands for Multiple Exceptionalities and Multiple Needs Network. So this network serves students that have multiple identifications. So what I mean by that is they're in special education. That's the first one they all need to have. But it's also students who may be English learners or migratory or GT, things like that. So that's what we mean by multiple exceptionalities and multiple needs. So these two webinars up here, the first one, these are given by experts. So they're not just from our network members. They're experts out in the field. The first one's about migratory children, bridging the gap and building opportunities. That is actually tomorrow. So once you see this flyer, if you want to click on this, that webinar is going to be tomorrow. The other one is specifically about military connected children that are in special education. That one's going to be December 1st from 1:30 to 2:30. So those are two webinars coming out from our MEMN network. This one right here that I'm scrolling up to, this is specifically for small and rural schools. So this comes from our small and rural schools network. And starting last year, they had a program where they provided speech teletherapy services to small and rural schools. So they've expanded that program and offered something similar for mental health services. So this is an application to apply for mental health teletherapy services for small and rural schools. So you have to meet the definition of small and rural schools, and that definition is on their website. If you click on this application, it'll take you and you can see exactly what the definition is. But if I remember off the top of my head, it's if you have 700 or less students, and if you're, I think, 60 miles away from your closest ESC. Don't quote me on that. Maybe go to the website to make sure exactly what those are, but it's something like that. So
Jam said you got it.
Okay, cool. Thank you. And so this application period actually closes tomorrow. So if you have small and rural schools in your regions, you want them to apply to have these services. So these are going to be teletherapy services. They're going to be free of charge. That's what the program does. It's going to offer these services free of charge to schools. And those services are going to run from January 4th through May 31st. And this next one is a training video that our team didn't actually do this video. This was done by, I think, people from Ed's team. But what they did is our team did write this technical assistance IEP development guidebook that if you haven't seen that, that's one of the 3 technical assistance guides that we put out in the recent past, the IEP development. We also put one out about child find and evaluation, and we put one about Section 504. So if you haven't seen those, those are on our special education website. But this video that they made was taking a small part of this guidebook that we developed, the section about goals, accommodations, and modifications, and made a little 15-minute video just for quick reference for people there. So if you want to check that video out there, and the bigger guidebook is on, like I said, on our special education website if you want to go see those guidebooks. And these last 4 resources come from our Child Find, Evaluation, and ARD Supports Network. So all of these either have posted or a few of them say they're coming soon. So they may not all be out right now. But this first one is an online video user's guide for the student data review tool. So they have a tool that helps school teams review and analyze their student data. So this is a video user's guide on how to use that tool. And they'll have another one coming for English Learner Supplement that will be coming soon also. So if you want to click on that, this one should be ready though. This online user's guide for student data review tool should be ready now. Another thing they have is a special education referral for an initial evaluation quick guide. So it just highlights the key points that LEAs should consider when they receive referrals and requests for initial special education evaluations. So that is also available now. These 2 things are coming soon. One of them is best practices for conducting virtual ARD committee meetings. That's going to be a workshop, virtual workshop. And then also an online module about initial referrals. That's also coming soon. So this, I think, Ed, do you have this flyer to pass out to, or to send out to everybody?
So the flyer went out with the agenda.
Okay.
So hopefully if folks got the agenda, they got the flyer. If not, we will post the flyer when we also post the video and post the agenda. So it'll be there. And then the other thing we did is at least some of the stuff will be caught to if you got the agenda, there's all at the bottom of the agenda. I also added the link for the webinars. So like the one that you mentioned about the goals and accommodations webinar and some of those others. So there should be multiple ways. And then all of the ESC directors, SPED directors got the agenda and that document today too. So there's multiple ways for folks to get that information if they need it.
I'm sorry. I just saw there's something in the chat there from Melissa about charter schools also being able to apply for that assistance. And I believe that they can, as long as they meet the definition of small and rural schools. I saw Jam responded in the chat. So Jam, do you want to confirm that if you're able to? Okay, so Jam says that they can. So yes, charter schools are eligible for that also. Jam Page is the director from Region 15. That's the ESC that's running the Small and Rural Schools Network. So.
Jam, I just made you eligible to talk if you have anything else you want to add to that. You just have to unmute yourself.
No, I don't have anything else. The list for all LEAs, districts, and charters that are small and or rural are on our webpage. So maybe we can put that in the chat. But yeah, as long as they meet the parameters that Stephen mentioned earlier, 700 students or less, K through 12 population, and 60 miles or more from the nearest ESC, then they are considered small and rural.
And yeah, I saw it in the chat. I apologize again for the issue with the agenda and the link to the Zoom. Sent the agenda out, and then I was going in to make some folks able to speak if they needed to, and then realized that the link had expired and there's no way to reactivate an expired link. So we had to send out a second updated agenda. But again, this link will be active for every meeting we have until March 31st. And I set a calendar reminder for myself to reset it in March when we need to. So apologize for that.
Is the link in the agenda, that's the correct one, right?
Yep. And I can
I just loaded that into the website. So,
Okay.
and I think Ed and I, we should have aligned on this before the meeting, but I'm going to do it now. We talked about not doing the invitations anymore because they're causing more hassle, I think, for folks than anything. We're gonna continue to put the link for this on the TEA website, but we're not going to continue to send out the website info or the calendar invite, just because it doesn't seem to be meeting the need. So if y'all can help us spread the word there. I will send out a blast to everybody that's on that Ask Ted list, but it seems like we're constantly missing folks. And TEA doesn't have any control over who is on that list. That is LEAs have to take care of that themselves. And so there's no way for us to fix it. So I think Ed and I have talked about previously, just we're not going to do the invitation anymore, but you'll always have it listed in the upcoming webinars, or I'm sorry, recent TEA webinars list here on our special education webpage.
And then I just dropped, obviously you got here today, but I just dropped the link in the chat for anybody too. So that is the link that'll work. Like I said, from now until March, we'll continue to do the same one. And we will send the spring dates out before everyone breaks for the holiday. Yeah. So I'll work with Justin, and hopefully by the next meeting, we'll have those set up, but probably start mid-January and continue that bi-weekly cadence. That seems to be the best way to go. Justin, did you have any other updates?
Yeah, Cheryl just asked in her chat if it's not listed on the website now. I literally just clicked the send, and so somebody in our Marcom team has to approve it before we go live. But so it'll be there. It'll be there soon. And then within the next 24 to 48 hours, the link for the for this recording will also be posted on that page as well. We've talked before, but just to reiterate, there's an issue with. We aren't the ones who can convert this into a YouTube video. Somebody else has to do that, and it has to be submitted through a ticket and go through the process. And so that's why it takes just a little bit longer than it used to. The only other thing I have is really, this is not an update. This is not any earth-shattering information, but just in regard to, y'all probably saw in the media, and we talked about it last time, that we have heard back from OSEP that sort of represents the culmination of several interactions we've had with them. To make sure that we're able to provide them with some data to substantiate some things. We're working through that with them right now. One of the things they have asked us to do is make some edits to the dispute resolution handbook, the procedural safeguards, and the parent's guide to the ARD process. I know that we've just gone through that. We just redid them last summer, and are two of those documents anyway, and y'all have distributed them. So just look for more information on that. We're gonna make it as painless as possible for y'all. We're probably going to go through the process again to send y'all the hard copies of those things again, so you won't have to incur expense locally doing that. That's what we're working on, trying to make sure it happens. But just know that that's going to happen. Don't ask me a lot of questions about it because I don't have the answers about timeline or anything yet. We're waiting for OSEP to get back from us. So. Anything Ed coming up in chat that you want to address?
There was a question regarding compensatory services. Do you recommend a timeline for conducting ARD meetings to discuss them?
So what we've talked about, I think in general, we probably need to blow this out into a topic that we do a small presentation on in one of these webinars soon. But our general guidance has been don't wait. As soon as you have data, you should be having those discussions with families. You should be looking at that data and trying to provide whatever you can as quickly as you can. We definitely do not recommend waiting until a certain line in the sand is drawn and then make determinations about what you're going to provide, because this is going to be ongoing, folks. We aren't going to emerge from this mess anytime soon valiantly and everything just goes away. That's not going to happen. And so we should be on an ongoing basis addressing this and trying to provide whenever you have an opportunity to provide services to make up for services that you haven't provided yet. You should be doing that and documenting that and communicating with families. And so, I think that's going to be our guidance on that is going to continue to be that of you need to do this on a rolling basis where you're addressing how you're going to make up for those services on an ongoing basis. Because don't wait till summer. Don't wait till you think the pandemic is over, because we're a long ways away from that. So, you know, and by then it's going to be awfully hard to make up for that lost ground. So, but we will take that into advisement. This is a question we get pretty regularly. So we will blow that out into a short presentation and give you all some documents around it. The documents won't be any different than what we've already posted, but we'll pull them together. So.
So the other thing I'll point to, and let's see if I can share my screen again. There is, it may help a little bit. There is a short, if you go to, I'll share this. So on the TEA website for recent TEA guidance, there is, besides the fact that the other information, there is a short presentation on compensatory services that talks about some of these things. On the agenda, this is the very last link at the bottom of the agenda. So if you actually go to, it's actually there. It'll take you directly to this page, and I'll drop this link in the chat so people have it. But it's just right off the main. It's just off our special education page.
I did just see one question come up in the chat. If services have been available, I'm only seeing part of it. Let me see. If services have been available to students, but parents have decided not to access services, that doesn't impact at all. If the parents if there's reasons why the parents aren't bringing the kid up to school or whatever, district's not off the hook. We still, you need to provide FAPE. Parents not waiving their right to FAPE when they do that. And it's the same theme that we've had throughout. Same thing with evaluations, all of that. So, like, just if you need to document all that and keep all of that up to date, make sure that communication is well documented. But there's not a scenario in which a district doesn't have to provide those services.
There was also a question in the question and answer section that I've been trying to put resources in there where they asked, was there guidance for LEAs regarding navigating evaluations for initial reevaluation when the parent refuses to bring the child to school for the evaluation? We have, I know that either the Child Finding Evaluation Network or maybe our team, I can't remember, put out some guidance about doing evaluations virtually if you need to. So I found something on the Child Finding Evaluation network that I put into that question and answer section, but I was also looking on the COVID website just to see if there was something there.
Can you go ahead and drop that link in the chat?
Yeah.
And Beverly's asking if you could show where the registration links are on the website. Just go, I can do it if you can let me share my screen.
So you should be able to share your screen. Is it specifically to the ones that Stephen was talking about or different ones?
I think she's talking about, I think Beverly's asking about these webinars. So the recent TEA webinars.
Okay.
It's going to be fun. Can you do it if I do it, I can't get out of the edit mode in the website without going all the way out and coming all the way back in. So
okay, so let me double check. I guess you can comment. Let's see. So what you're wanting to show is this, correct?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is linked in the agenda as well, this directly to this page, and I'll drop this in the chat as well. So this is, any of these are in here, as well as other recorded webinars. You can just scroll down. There's House Bill. There's everything that we do gets dropped into here. So I'll drop it.
We're in the process of archiving some of that stuff at the bottom, and just putting them in some different places so it's not lost. Because we've been having so many webinars that it's going to be a lot of scrolling. But to get to this website, you go to the tea.texas.gov/TexasFed. That'll bring you to the special education website. Scroll down to the bottom, and there's a link for recent TEA webinars. So, yeah, that one.
Okay, so
There's a question here from Michelle, and I don't want to go too far into specifics without having some time to prep and talk through all this with everybody. But Michelle is asking, do we have to provide? Can we provide comp services virtually, or do we have to go in the home to do so? Nobody's saying that you have to go into the home to do so. And some services can be provided virtually, and some cannot. It just effectively, and something is better than nothing every single time. So being able to do something, because what remember, we need to be thinking about compensatory services in the vein of how are we addressing the impact of the loss of services, the missing services, not the minute per minute. Didn't we get these many services? Now we need this many. That may sometimes be the case, but you need to approach compensatory services with how do we address the impact of the fact that this child did not get everything that they needed to get. And so that sort of should let you think outside of the box a little bit and how you're going to address that. And having those conversations with parents about, remember, this is not necessarily a minute per minute, even though that may be the case. Speech is probably a good example of that, like and probably even dyslexia. You have to get through X, Y, and Z intervention with fidelity sort of thing. That's probably a case where that might happen. But in other cases, you're not going to need to do that. You're going to need to just look at how we're going to address the impact, taking into account everything else that's happening for this child. And we don't want to push them over the edge or overwhelm them or cause an unintended consequence in another area of performance because of what we're trying to do over here. So, so TA is not saying you have to go into the home. TA is recommending that you do what you need to do, whatever you can do to begin to address the impact of those missing services as quickly as possible. Don't wait. If there's a way to do something, figure it out and make it happen, because it'll make everybody's life easier in the long run, and it'll help that child from falling so much further behind.
So Shana or Shanna, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that, but those are the two links that Stephen dropped into the Q&A. I just dropped them in the chat. And that's, do you have anything else, Justin?
No, sir.
Okay, so we will.
Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yeah, and again, we'll get this up posted as soon as we can. Sorry again about the mix up with the link, but we can only run it for so long. So we'll get that up, and then we'll blast out the link to this, but we won't, as Justin mentioned, we won't use calendar invites anymore to try to reduce confusion. So, and with that, thank you guys very much. Enjoy your holiday.
Be safe, y'all.